6th of July, Rabbi Levitt, Chofetz Chaim. Sorry for the interruption.
No problem. Okay, we just started Sefer.
Thank you.
Okay, that's on page 14. Okay, the lo yotzi sheker mipiv, and thus avoid telling a lie. So he shouldn't. He should respond in a manner, but not to avoid telling a lie. Okay. Ve'im hu mevin shechaveiro lo yikabel zeh l'tshuva. If, however, he knows that Shimon will not accept such a response, mutar lomar sheker gamur mipnei hashalom. Oh, that's interesting. Then Reuven is permitted to tell Shimon an outright lie for the sake of maintaining peace. Aval lo yishava chas v'shalom l'sheker b'shvil zeh. Nevertheless, Reuven may not swear falsely for this purpose, heaven forbid. The aim of Be'er Mayim Chaim, and see the Be'er Mayim Chaim on this.
Right, because the Be'er Mayim Chaim is going to bring the story with Avram and Sarah.
Oh.
When they were told, this is in Bereshis Yud Ches. Chofetz Chaim brings down the story over there. That what happened?
Is that when Sarah said she didn't laugh or something?
Right. So Yud Ches. Yud Be'er Mayim Chaim says Yud Ches Yud Beis. Let's try over there. Yeah, so over here, it says over here that this is the story with the malachim that came to Avram. He grabbed them and brought them in and gave them hospitality, and So in Pasuk Yud it says V'yomer shuva shuvei lecha ke'es chaya v'hinei bein l'sara ishtecha. So one of the malachim said, I'm going to return to you this time next year. There's going to be a son. Hinei ben l'sara ishtecha. So it says V'sara shomas, she heard it. Pesach Oel, Ulacharav. And then the pasuk says there was a kenim boim b'yomim, chadalios l'sara or kanashim. She had already was. They were both of them were old, and of course the way of women had ceased with Sarah. So derech hateva, there's no way that she could have a child. And she's v'titzchak Sarah b'kirba. She laughed inside. Lemor acharei belosi haisali edna v'adoni zakein. So she said basically two thoughts to herself. She didn't say it to anyone else. She said, first she spoke about herself. She said, after I have become old and my skin is not so good. I'm an old woman, and so she was describing herself, her oldness, her age. And then she also said, Va'adoni Zakein. And my master is Zakein. He's old. Okay, so then Hashem said to Avram, he said, Lama zeh sachakat, Sarah. Why did Sarah laugh? Is there anything that's not possible for Hashem to do? And then he told Avram, at this time, I'm going to, next year, you're going to, Sarah is going to have a son. Okay, so the Chofetz Chaim over here says in the Ber Maim Chaim, he says, "Ve'ein lahakshos lefi ma shekasavnu b'fnim de'im yesh lo etza." Don't ask on this that we have written in the Sefer that if he has an etza, that he could to respond to the questioner that it won't be a sheker gomor. So he should answer him in that way, and like that it won't be a sheker gomor that comes out from his mouth. So he says over here in Cain, Heyach ochicha haGomora hanal b'Yevamos. The Gemara in Yevamos says, Godol hashalom she'af HaKadosh Baruch Hu shina bo. Even Hashem was mishana from the emes by saying what he said to Avram. Because what did Hashem say to him? Because I didn't make a point of saying that. Hashem said that Sarah said, "Va'ani zakanti."
Oh.
And really, Sarah said, "Adoni zakein."
Well, she said both.
She said that she said words to indicate that she was old, right? And right. So that's right. Okay. So in the Ber Maim Chaim he says, right, because initially Sarah said Adoni zakein. And in the end of the day, the pasuk writes that Hashem told Avram that she said Ani zakanti. And like that, the Gemara in Yevamos says Gadol Shalom, as even Hashem was mishana from the in his dibur, meaning that he said something that wasn't entirely wasn't true for the sake of shalom. So don't ask a question, says the Chofetz Chaim. Ema de kavonas hakosuf bezeh rak lahatik ma'imaro the acharei belosi haisali edna. When Sarah said these words about she didn't say the words I am zakein, zakanti. She said other words, but that's Hashem was just v'lo l'shanos mina adoni zakein la'ani zakanti. Hashem didn't change really from the words of I'm having trouble translating this. Let me try it again. Mikara ksiv Adoni's okay, and Ulavasof ksiv Anizakanti. Ema de Kavanas Akosov Bezer, Rak Lahatik, my Maro de Akri Balosi Haisalis Edna. Below the Shanot mean the Adoni's okay, La Nizakanti. The kak yafelanu lama the lo hotzi mipiv devar sheker. Acharish sof kol sof lo hetika kadosh baruch hu rak devar avla achas midevareha. Asher tzachok haya lo meatzmo. Omar leAvram ha'avla hashniya ma shelepela haya lo gam kein al Avram shegam hu zakein. Okay, yeah, these words are a bit difficult for me to explain. I think what the Chofetz Chaim means to say is that Hashem, in saying what he said, there was two things that Sarah said. She said 4 words in regard to her having age, and she just said about Avram, he's okay, Adoni's okay. And so Hashem did not, so there was 2 things that she said, and Hashem reported back basically just in regard to what Sarah said about herself. But he didn't report that she also said this about Avram. So if so, then what? The Yishlama the Ein Hachinami the Kavanas Akasav Kahu. That's what the intention of the pasuk was to report, that Hashem was reporting half of the story. He did say one part of the story, but he didn't say the other part of the story. Rak the Svoras HaGemora, the Gamze Mikri Shinui, the Divrei Hashem Yisborach. The Gemara in Yevamos is saying that is called a alteration in the story of what relating the story. So that's called being saying something that's not entirely true. Because the Torah records only half of the words that she said. It did not relate that she also said, and my husband is old. And this is what we meant in the Sefer. Chofetz Chaim is talking when we said Shelo yesh sheker gomor, that it shouldn't be. If you could figure out a way that it shouldn't be a sheker gomor, a complete fabrication. Hainu shepamim harbe yuchal lesaper lo ma she'amar lo chavero rak yidaleg lo ma shehu neged ritzono u'kamased Avram. That this is what we're saying it'll be times where it's very a good eitzah to just relate words that will not make the listener angry and hate the person that he's talking about, and skip over the words that will make him angry and hate the person that he's quoting. That's called being Meshana b'diburo. Okay. I'm not exactly sure what the Chofetz Chaim's question was, tell you the truth. Does he mean to say that that Hashem didn't say anything that was untrue. Why is the Gemara in Yevamah saying that it's permissible to say something even if it's not true for the sake of shalom? What did Hashem say that wasn't true? Sarah said two things. He reported one of them.
Hashem told the truth, but not the whole truth. He withheld a certain amount of information.
Is that called saying? Is that called saying not saying the emes?
I think that's the point that the Chofetz Chaim is making. He's saying, first of all, it's good if you can tell the whole truth. If lacking that, it's better if you can tell partial truth.
Well, in the Sefer he said, "Im yesh lo eitzah," if he has an eitzah, he has some advice to give an answer, but often shelo yeh sheker gomor, in a way that it won't be a sheker gomor.
Right. What's the difference between a sheker gomor and a sheker?
Yeah, but then he says, "Gam lo yeh rechilas." That will also not be regarded as rechilas.
Right.
That he won't relate rechilas. In other words, if he has a way that he his eitzah is to not say it. His eitzah is that he's going to respond to this person. The person said, "What did Ploni say about me?" So he's going to say, "I'll tell you what Ploni said about you." And he's going to respond and say something which is, what he's going to say is not a sheker gomor. V'gam lo yeh rechilas. That's what he's trying to accomplish. He's trying to say words about what Ploni said about this person, and it won't be a sheker gomer what he's saying about what he's reporting about what was said about him, and with the point of that is that there will be no rechilas that's said. So if he has a way to do that, yashiveu ba'ofen zeh, let him say it in that way. V'lo yotzi sheker mipiv, and so that he won't and then like that he won't say a sheker from his mouth. So right, when he says sheker over here, I guess he means to say a sheker gomor. That's the eitzah. He's got two issues over here. He doesn't want to say sheker, and he also cannot say rechilas. So how's he do that? Says the Chofetz Chaim, if he has an eitzah that he won't need to say a sheker gomor, and like that he'll be able to successfully avoid saying any rechilas. So let him do that. That'll be permissible for him to say those words. To say those words. But if he understands that the person's not going to accept that answer, he's going to say, "What? I know he said more than that. What else did he say?" Then it's muter lomar sheker gomor mipnei hashalom. Then he's allowed to say something which is totally untrue. Not any. It's not true in whole, in part, or anything, in order for the sake of shalom, meaning to avoid saying rechilas, because rechilas is creates the machlokes and sinna, and for the sake of shalom, one can say even a sheker gomor if there's no other eitzah to do so, but not to swear to it. So I'm understanding what the bottom line, what the kasha of the Chofetz Chaim and the Be'er Mayim Chaim was that if you'll say, well, Hashem didn't say any sheker at all. All he was doing was what all the pasuk was doing was saying that was relating what Sarah said about herself, and the words he didn't. The pasuk doesn't say that Hashem quoted exactly the words that Sarah said about herself. It just said that Sarah said that she was old, but it wasn't that. What that in other words, that was simply a translation of what she had said. It wasn't an outright lie that she said my husband is old, and Hashem said she said that she was old. No, because there was two things that was said. She said words indicating her age, and she also said and my husband is old. So like that, we might have thought to say that that's not even called bin mishana b'shalom. On that, the Chofetz Chaim answers that no, why it's called bin mishana b'shalom, which means you're veering from the whole truth, is because even though we can say that he didn't say any sheker in regard to what she said, he was only relating what she said in fewer words, but the fact that he didn't say the second part about Avram, that's called bin mishana b'diburo. Like you say, not the whole truth. It's not the whole truth. She said two things. And that is called bin mishan b'dibur, and that is, but see, the thing is, the Chofetz Chaim is saying that the truth of the matter is that for the sake of shalom, one could do even more than what Hashem did. Hashem didn't need to say any more than what he said in order to achieve the result of not saying rechilas and causing a lack of shalom. But the Chofetz Chaim is saying that if it would have been necessary, it wasn't necessary in the case of the episode of Hashem with Avram. But if it would have been necessary, then a person could say something that none of what he's saying has any basis in truth, for the sake of shalom. If that will achieve the shalom, that he wouldn't have to say rechilas. So that was what we were wondering about. How does this work? In order to avoid saying rechilas, can you say a sheker? Chofetz Chaim is saying a sheker gomor, if necessary. Okay. And then in the next Be'er Mayim Chaim, he just says the Chofetz Chaim that it shouldn't be a problem at all to refuse to swear, because refusing is no indication that the person knows that he's not saying the truth. It's because many people have the mode of conduct that they do not swear. Period. So to be able to say, if the person says, "I'll swear to that," so Chofetz Chaim says you don't need to. You're not allowed to do that, because you can. The Eitzah is you just say, "I'm sorry, I don't swear. I'm not swearing to that." But what I'm saying is, you know, oh, that's an interesting thing. Are you allowed to say what I'm saying is true? Yes, it is. It's no less true than what you said. Right? The reason why you're saying that is so that the person will believe it and there will be shalom.
Mhm.
Okay. In others, what comes out from the Chofetz Chaim over here, and the Rav Dessler actually says this as well, is sheker, even though we have a pasuk of midvar sheker tircha, stay far away from sheker. So where do we get off the Chofetz Chaim saying, in this case you could say a sheker. It depends. If it's for the sake of shalom, so then Hashem says, my ratzon is that you should say a sheker, just like the Chofetz Chaim says. The Chofetz Chaim, what the ratzon Hashem is. In that case, if it's necessary, there's no other alternative, then that's the thing to say. I don't know what you want to call it. You want to call it the emes, you want to call it the sheker, that's mutter. I don't know what you want to call it, but whatever you call it, it's the ratzon Hashem. And that's the bottom line. And that's the main thing to fulfill. As opposed to a person saying, oh, I can't tell a lie. Like, don't be like George Washington. Follow the ratzon Hashem. The ratzon Hashem tells you that sometimes it's necessary to say something which is not true for the sake of shalom. Okay. Tess. Vida. Lou, you want to read Tess?
No, he's
Lou.
Yes. Where are we?
Want to read Sif Tess?
Yes. Tess. Okay, sorry. Take note. Vada. Take note. Da'afilu im eno omer lo befarush. And even if Ruvain does not expressly mention Shimon, I think expressly means explicitly. Shehem ha'ish ha'hu she'rago alav. The name of the person who he spoke against. Oh, he didn't explicitly say the name of the person he's speaking against. Rak hu misaper lo stam. But he only speaks in general terms. Va'al yidei sipuro mi mela nis vada lo achar kach shem ha'ish hahu. And if based on Ruvain's account, Shimon is able to figure it out. She'etzem ha'inyan ma she'dibru alav o shena'aseh lo yada me atzmo. Similarly, if he knew the basic story on his own, that someone had spoken or acted against him, af al yada asa lo o diber elav, but he did not know the identity of the one who acted or spoken. So he knew the basic story, but he didn't know the specifics. Uba zeh hamiragel, and comes along this this gossip monger, v'her'a lo b'derech remez sheyavin mi hu. And by intimation alludes to the identity of the responsible party, gam kain asur. This too is prohibited. So if I tell a story, and I say, I'm not mentioning names, just telling you that there was this guy who who went to the same shul as I do, and whatever he was dirty, he smelled, and then I tell that to somebody, and then somebody else comes along and says, "Oh, did you hear that Ploni Almoni was in shul and he smelled?" So now, not only has the third person spoken Rechilas, but I also spoke Rechilas.
Mhm. Okay. Is there any scenario that the art scroll brings over here?
Yeah, scenario I. 2 days after a snowstorm, a 15-year-old boy volunteers to shovel his parents' sidewalk with the help of his friend. When he comes in from the cold and his father thanks him for doing the job, the son reveals that someone told him that failing to shovel is irresponsible, and that if anyone slips and falls, the family will be sued. Foster instantly knows from the comment and the circumstances that someone is his neighbor, the father of his son's friend. Oh, it's his neighbor, the father of his son's friend. Because the son stirred his father's animosity against the neighbor, even without naming him, the report is Rechilas.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
So in other words, the father put two and two together. He said, "Oh, you were shoveling with Bobby, and now you're telling me that somebody said this statement about slipping and falling must have been Bobby's father."
Uh-huh. And that's going to get this boy's father angry at Bobby's father.
Right.
Why is that exactly?
Because Bobby's father was implying that there was something wrong with the father of the boy, of the 15-year-old boy.
Why? Because the father himself wasn't doing the shoveling? What's the...
Either that or maybe he said it before they shoveled. Before they shoveled, Bobby's father assumed that they weren't shoveling, and he made this statement now they've shoveled, so they're not guilty, but nevertheless, the father may feel animosity. What is he going around talking about me, saying I don't shovel?
Oh, that's the implication. The implication is that I'm not careful with the snow on my sidewalk.
Right. I think so, yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay.
I used to shovel snow.
Yeah.
I charge $1 a walk.
Hmm.
When I lived in Philadelphia.
Wow.
Interesting. Okay.
And I never spoke Rechilus.
In other words, if Bobby's father wants to give tochacha to his neighbor to make sure that he does what he's supposed to do, he should knock on his door and tell him to his face.
Right.
Not tell it to his 15-year-old kid.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
It's like this. He's saying that he's telling my kid that I'm not careful with my with the to prevent people from getting injured on my property.
Right.
He's telling my kid that I'm not a good guy.
Right.
So that's going to make the 15-year-old kids angry at the other guy, and we're adding, like, justifiably so. Like, in other words, if the guy would knock on his come to his face, he probably also would get angry, right? But that we have no eitzah for, because that's a mitzvah of tochacha for him to do that.
Hmm.
Right. And depending on how the neighbor said it, if he says it properly, with concern and the proper body language and so on, that I'm just trying to be helpful. I'm not being critical. He might not hate him.
Okay.
But when he hears it from a third party, there's no opportunity for the body language or any of that stuff.
Yeah, this 15-year-old son is not relating to the father that he told him in a very nice way and blah blah blah, and
Right.
he may even have said to him, it's such a good thing that you're doing, that because if you wouldn't do that, so that people could fall, of course, and there could be trouble. Person could lose out, whatever.
Right. And certainly, if it's through two people, it's that is going to be lost. Because the neighbor is telling his own son. His own son then tells Bobby, and Bobby then tells his father.
Yeah, we're not talking about the neighbor talking. We're not saying what the neighbor said was not proper necessarily, but we're saying that what the 15-year-old son of the neighbor, the other father, wasn't proper for him to relate to the father what the neighbor said.
Right.
To him.
Yeah, the neighbor may have simply said to his son, people should be careful about shoveling their snow. He may not have mentioned, who he was talking about at all.
Okay.
He may have just made a general statement, which now Bobby's father is putting two and two together.
Yeah.
maybe erroneously.
Yeah, that's what I said yesterday. Actually, I said, maybe the father should give his neighbor the benefit of the doubt, and maybe it was just somebody was walking by. It said, you got, I don't know. Okay.
Yeah, it gets tricky.
Okay.
Anyway, our time is up.
The time is up. Okay.
And